Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Coach Sherry. I'm in my vehicle, so this is car chat and all that. I was going to try and go live this morning and have it called Top of the Day. Whenever I go into an office or a building early in the morning, when I first walk into the receptionist area, I always say Top of the Day. And so that's what I was going to entitle this if it was live. But y'all, scheduling lives and especially early in the morning and trying to make that time can be very, very challenging. So unfortunately it didn't happen today, but I did want to come on and just make this pre-recorded video and go over the topic that I did have outlined. And it's about knowing your worth. I can't recall, but I think I may have talked about this a little bit before in a previous video a lot earlier. But I just really wanted to come on and talk about ways to not only know your worth, but to get your worth. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, I think it's a distraction because trust, there's so many other things going on in this world that we really need to focus on. But we are being distracted by people being disgruntled with other people's situations, how they were treated, so on and so on. And they're not giving any nuggets, any strategies to help those that are coming behind them. Okay, yes, you could feel some kind of way. Maybe you were mistreated. Maybe you weren't paid your worth or whatever. But what did you learn from that? What will you do differently? And that's the thing. That's what people that are coming up behind you, your nieces, nephews, aunties, babies, whatever, that's what they need to hear, those strategies, so that that won't happen to them. Telling the story, but telling how you succeeded in spite of. I think about the trailblazers. There's been so many people in our culture, in our world, that have done things that, were so remarkable, and they did it so that we wouldn't have to. I even consider my own dad, and he's been on my channel. I did a live for him with him a couple of years ago where he talked about how he got started in business. Now, my dad is 85 years old, and he and my mom owned and operated their own business for over 40 years. And when my father owned that business, when he went into that business, now, first of all, my dad, he always wanted to own his own business. He grew up in the South, in the rural South, did sharecropping work, didn't complete high school, but he always knew he wanted to own his own business. And he knew that moving up north, he would have greater opportunities. And he and my mom got married really early. My mother was 19. He was 21. She was 20 and 21 when she had my brothers, but by 20 and 22, her and my dad purchased their first home. So they both always been on that type of grind, but they had tried many, many businesses to see what would stick. And finally they found that magic business. And my father was working, not then, they didn't call it, well, what he was doing as an apprentice, but basically as an apprentice, learning everything from the owner, doing well, catching on with the tricks of the trade, and really becoming competent in it. And when the owner was going to retire, my dad put in that he wanted to purchase it. And this was in the mid 60s. And the owner said to him, you do a great job, but this area, this town is not ready for a Black business owner. That would discourage most people, and they would go on to the next, or they would go and, raise ruckus, whatever. But what my father did, he found a white partner who bought the business with him, brought the building, everything. And for a few years, I want to say maybe 5 years or so, my mother and father continued to save money, and my father was able to buy out his partner. So sometimes you have to be creative in what you do. And so he did that so nobody else would have to. And I remember growing up, and people would come into my parents' store or to the home, and they would just sit under them and just say, listen, Can you tell me, I want to do this as a business? What do you think? Mr. I'm not going to say my maiden name, but Mr. X, what how do I do this? How do I go about doing this? And my father would always tell them how to go about. He rarely shared the story about what happened when he first purchased the business that he and my mother became so successful in. He always went into the strategies on how to continue to grow and do better, because that's his point, is I want you to do better than what we did. I don't want you to have to go through what I did, what I had to go through to get this. No, I'm here to tell you how to move forward from that. Another is, it's out there, and you have to know your industry. You have to know who your competition or your colleagues are and what are they doing. What is your industry willing to pay? What is their budget? What are the people that are doing exactly what you're doing? How much are they getting paid? And I learned that from my husband. Let me tell you, when it was time for him to renew his contract, first of all, you have to have a manager that understands the industry too. You can't just have your best friend, your lover, someone that you're trying to help get on if you're still really trying to get on, because your manager needs to have a huge circle of influence. They need to be at those golf courses playing golf and rubbing elbows with the right people to get your name across and be able to make moves for you. It is a partnership. So yes, your manager is out there, but you have to do something on your own too. And I remember when we were interviewing new managers for my husband's next contract, and that was very strategic on our part. We were very intentional with who that new manager already knew. What did they see in my husband? Like, do you see me as a starter? Do you think that I can make it? Do you think you can get me that big deal? And some managers answered yes, but they really were unsure, and we couldn't afford to have someone like that on the team. We wanted someone that was like, yes, this is what I heard this team talking, like bring us information that we don't already know. And that's the one that we went with. But we didn't just lay on the fact that we had this manager and he was going to kill the game for us. No, my husband went and got film of some of his best games, some of his best performances out there on the field, and compiled those and used those to send to the teams. Like, listen, this is me playing left tackle in this game, this, that, and the other. And that helped with those highlights. Also, looking around, seeing other players that may have made less than him or were drafted lower than him come in. And this was at the time when free agency was becoming really big, and seeing what their contracts were. So he knew the money was out there and wasn't going to settle for anything less. I remember when we were leaving St. Louis and they had wanted to renew his contract during the season, and my husband didn't take it. And I was so sad because, listen, out of all the cities we lived in, I loved St. Louis. The people there were wonderful. And so when he didn't take that contract, I was like, why wouldn't you take that contract? This is a great city, this, that, and the other. He didn't take it because they weren't paying him what he was worth. And he knew that. And even his dad, my dad, they were both like, you didn't want to take that because it was a good contract, but it wasn't a great contract. And again, he knew his worth and would not settle for anything less. And so learning that and being around those things. Oh, so the next time, after that season, our next team, yeah, it was more than double than what the Rams were going to pay him that previous year when they wanted to renew. So he absolutely knew his worth, held out for the right reasons, and did the right thing. So I just wanted to say too that you can't seem desperate. You may want to pivot, and you may feel that, this is not the right place, the right time, and you just want to go. And I've had several friends, and I don't know if they're tuned in now, but a few years ago, they would send me information and be like, oh, Sherry, this is a great opportunity. You should look into it. And before I would even look into it, I would be like, is it six figures? And they would be like, no, but no, I'm not settling for anything less. And I know that my posture was such because of my experiences with my parents, with my husband, understanding what your worth is. Because if you continue taking less than what you are absolutely worth, that's what the industry will see you as, a person that they can pay $50,000, $75,000, $80,000, $100,000, whatever, that you will never get to that level of what your colleagues, your peers are making. And so it's important to not settle and not be disgruntled just because they provided you with that. Negotiate. Where's your manager? Who's in your circle? I get it. If you're going for a regular 9 to 5 type of career, you won't have a manager, no. But you have to know how to advocate for yourself and negotiate the best that you know how. If you have examples of your work, if you have formal reviews, if you have references that you can include showing when you've done certain things that's going to absolutely help and transfer to that new opportunity, submit that with your negotiation. Be like, listen, I saved this company X amount of money, quantify it in the past. And I know that y'all are having challenges with meeting your financial goals. And I can help you because I've done it before. This is what I'm great at. Learn how to sell yourself. It's not about being disgruntled, but it's about laying those trails, those paths, those pavers along the way so that people behind you will know how to do it for themselves too. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be out here in the streets hollering and screaming, yelling, feeling some kind of way, blaming others, pointing the finger. No, how are you accountable? How are you taking a stronghold to your career, to your future? If you continue to take less than what you know you deserve, then that's what the people are going to think you feel that you deserve. You deserve the best. You deserve just as much. It don't matter if they're white, black, red, brown, yellow, purple, or gold. I guess yellow and gold be the same colors, but it doesn't even matter with the colors. That makes it even more of a strategy for you. If you can see clearly that people from another race are making more, but you have more accolades, you have just as much talent, just as much experience, then that's what you blow the whistle on. Talk about that. Why, and make that a known statement. Why are they making more than me right now when I have this, that, and the other? If you're going to call one person out, you got to call everybody out. And that's just how I look at it. But my thing is, before you start calling anyone out, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what could you do better? What could you have done better? And what should you do better moving forward? Because it's all about, we want to elevate everyone. It's all about bringing them up, but bringing them up with that blueprint, that foundation. We're all in the business of making our foundations stronger. How are you making your foundation stronger for the next person? So maybe their struggle won't be like yours. It'll be an easier road to travel. That's all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I know it is the Monday after the Super Bowl. This should be a holiday. Super Bowl Monday really and truly needs to be a holiday. But I'm going to tell you, halftime one for me, Usher did a phenomenal job. Alicia Keys, Ludacris, Lil Jon, they did a great job. And if you have never been to Vegas, you need to go and you need to see that new stadium. The Raiders Stadium is so dynamic. It is the most remarkable football stadium I have ever seen. So I hope you get a chance to go. Even if they're not playing, go take a tour, check it out for sure. Even if you have to just do a drive-by. I did do a short where I had filmed driving by, and it is crazy. So I know when Super Bowl is there, it is off the chain. All right, thanks for tuning in. And listen, be sure each and every day to practice so hard that when you get in there, you will play to win. All right, take care, everyone.